Welcome to episode number 5 of Espresso with Omar Podcast. I'm your host, Omar, and today my goal is to give you a strong shot of motivation for your day, a strong shot of encouragement for your week. So thank you for clicking on this episode. Today I'm answering the question, but why? But why? Why do I gotta work harder? Why do I gotta work out? Why do I gotta make myself better? Why do I gotta change my routine? Why do I gotta suffer now? Why? Because future you is watching. At any given moment, there is 3 versions of you that are watching, that are living, that are experiencing life. There's a current version of you, there's a previous past version of you, and there's a potential future version of you, all experiencing life at the same time. The present you, to give an example, when it comes to picking a place to eat, let's say you want to go out for lunch with your friends, you're going to go to watch a movie, to a movie theater, you are taking inventory of your current reality with a previous experience as a background, right? You have previous experience of trying XYZ. Therefore, you make a decision in the current present about what you want to do today. So if you've had a bad experience in this movie theater, a bad experience in that restaurant that you want to go to, you're going to remember that past version of you as you make a decision in the current present. And where the future potential you is watching is in that whatever you decide to do in that moment is affecting a future you directly. So what that means is if you're going to go to a restaurant and the bartender is offers a bottomless mimosas that night. Now, you've been in this situation before, maybe, so you can take inventory. Well, the last time that there was bottomless mimosa and I was here with this specific person that I'm with, we got wasted and I didn't make it to work the next day. It was fun. So let's run it back. So that's directly going to impact the future you of that following morning, that following day. You may have to call off from work. You may get behind at work. You may have a hangover. You might get sick. You could get into some legal troubles. You can do some things that you're going to regret, post some things, text some people, say some things that you're then going to look back on and go, why did I do that? So in any given moment, there's these 3 versions of you experiencing reality, right? There's a past version, a current version, and a future version of you. When you start to view this way, you come to understand that where you are in your current position, wherever you are in life, in your current situation, it's directly correlated to the decisions you decided to make in a previous moment. The previous version of you made decisions that led to the current outcome that you're living in right now, in the current situation that you're living in now. By the same line of thinking, decisions you're going to make today are going to directly impact the future, the tomorrow you. So that begs the question, what are you doing today? What are you deciding to do today? And how is that impacting your tomorrow? If you come to the table with why do I have to do things that are difficult, that are hard? Why do I have to sacrifice? Why do I have to put myself in a position where I'm not immediately getting gratification? Why? Because the future you is watching and desperately desiring that you make a better decision. Because the future you is watching and begging that you go down the path that makes the best future version of you come to life. Because the future you is yelling, begging, screaming, desiring that you choose the path that benefits them. Today's habits compound into tomorrow's reality. Your habits today compound into the future reality we're going to live. They compound. So, whatever your habits are, if your habits are sleeping in, going to sleep late, if your habit today is to be late to everything, is to get behind, is to procrastinate, is to live carelessly without a thought of the future, you're creating a future. Just because the future is absent from your conscious mind when making current day decisions doesn't mean they don't impact and build a future. Just because you're not actively thinking about your future when making decisions doesn't mean you're not actively building for your future. You're 100% building for your future. You're just building unconsciously or without thinking about what that future can look like because you're compounding current behaviors, current patterns, current habits, and they're just compounding on one another. So, why? Why? Because you're building for the person you want to become. Who do you want to become? Where do you want to go? What do you want your life to be like? Whatever that is, you have to build for that. If you continue to compound the habits you're currently living, you're not going to change anything. But if you can imagine yourself in a better situation, change your current decision making, change your current behaviors, change your current habits, and build towards the person you want to become. I don't want to live a life where I got to pay for my regrets. I don't want to live a life where I have to pay for the shoulda, couldas. Why didn't I do XYZ? Now, you can also set yourself up in a way where you can gain from the decisions that you make in the present in the future, not only in a regretful, painful way. From the ages of 17 to 23, these years were very difficult for me because I spent a lot of those years not doing what everyone else was doing. A lot of my friends were partying. A lot of my friends were enjoying having full time jobs after high school and just really living a fun life. I decided to go straight into the university that I decided to attend. And I worked my butt off. I did summer classes, winter classes. I finished my degrees, my undergraduate degrees in 4 years. I was about 21 years of age. And instead of saying I'm gonna start my life here, I went straight into my grad program because I wanted to be able to have what at the time I was imagining was going to be consistent, stable employment. And I didn't really understand what that meant. I just knew this is what I keep hearing, that stable employment, I can get a master's and I'll have consistent work for a long time, and consistency and stability and stable employment was something I envisioned in the future, not really understanding how that would pay out for me. Well, I graduated with my master's degree at the age of 23. I had my first child at the age of 24, and the pandemic happened. COVID happened. The amount of people that were laid off, the amount of people who lost their jobs, the amount of people who couldn't afford to live a life to pay their rent, to pay their bills, to feed their children during that time was awful, was absolutely awful. The amount of fear that people had about the future and the uncertainty of how they were going to provide for their families was horrible. Not only did I have a job, I was getting paid well to do my job. I was able to provide for my family. I was able to provide for my son at the time. And even when I decided to take a risk and step away from my career to start a business, I was able to return back to my field and have a job, have something to provide for my family. Now, what I didn't understand was that the years from 17 to 23 were building for the person 25 to 30. The person that was 25 to 30, the future me, which is current me now, is benefiting so much from the hard work, from the proper decision making, from the good decision making of 17 to 23-year-old me. You're either stacking regrets or you're stacking wins. You're either compounding regrets or you're compounding wins. And both of those make a big impact in the future you. You can either regret not doing and have the, oh man, I wish I would have, oh man, I should have, man, I could have, to, I'm so glad I did this. I'm so happy that I decided to set myself up here. And this is the beauty. Today you can do that. Even if right now you have been stacking regrets after regrets after regrets, and you're in a situation right now, there's still a future you watching. So why? Why should you do anything? Why? Why? Because a future you that is begging to come into existence, that's begging to be able to benefit from better decision making, is watching you. Do it for future you. Act in service of your future self. Love who you were and where you have been and what you have gone through. And love where you are, because where you are now is the foundation to where you can go and who you can become. Some practical tips. Take inventory. Take inventory. Why are you here? How did you get here? What decisions did you make in the past that led to your current situation? Take inventory. Watch film on how you got to where you are. Number two, set a plan of where you want to go. Make it real. Who is where you want to be? Who is doing, living, existing in the way that you would like to be? Reach out to the closest version of that and have a conversation with them. Make it real. How did they get there? What did they do? What was their path like? What decisions did they make to get to where they want to be, which is where you want to be? Make it real. Set a plan and find the people, the closest you can get to where you want to be, and inquire. Take inventory on what they did. Number three, break it down into small steps, into small achievable goals. Use your resources. Use everything that you have. Use YouTube, use Google, use ChatGPT, use your friends, use the connections you have, use information online, and start to set those small steps in the right direction. And number five, track your progress. It's so important to track your progress. You don't want to do something and not know if you're progressing, if you're in the same place, because then you could either beat yourself up when you should actually be saying, I'm doing good, I'm moving forward, or be celebrating when you really aren't moving. So you got to track your progress. Ways that I was tracking my progress when I was on my weight loss journey. I had a calendar, literally a calendar on my wall, and I would put on X on every day that I worked out. So that if I looked at the calendar and at the end of the month, I can see how many days was I at the gym. How many days did I actually spend working on what I wanted to do, which was lose a lot of weight? And then I could compare from the previous month. I could take inventory, reanalyze and assess what I have been doing as I take small steps in the direction that I want to go. Thank you so much for joining me on episode number 5 of Espresso with Omar podcast. Today, I answered your question. Why? Why should I do this? Because future you is watching. So go out there and start building the future you and make future you come into reality. Thank you so much.